Hi, I'm Carol Herder, president of Cavallo. When I founded this company in 1993, I had one big question on my mind. How can I make the horse industry a better place for horses and the people who ride them? We've heard the adage, no hoof, no horse. Well, what does that really mean? Our horses are prey animals, and that means they've got to be able to run far and fast in order to survive. And that means they're going to have a healthy hoof. Now, when this hoof bears weight, the weight of the horse descends, and the hoof is sandwiched between that weight and the ground. Now, the coffin bone is meant to drop like a trampoline in order to absorb shock. How does that happen? The heels spread apart and draw the sole flat so that the sole gets out of the way of the descending bone column. Now, you may have heard it said that a horse has 5 hearts. What that refers to is 1 in the chest and 4 on the ground. And the 4 on the ground are the frogs. Now, these frogs serve 2 extremely important functions. Not only do they spread those heels apart so that the bone column has somewhere to descend, but they pump the blood. They pump the blood back from the hoof, back into the heart, blood circulation, which carries nutrients. And the nutrients feed all the live tissue and the live coriums of the hoof. They feed and prevent a lot of the ailments our horses are plagued with. Do our horses have hoof problems? You bet they do. Now, if the hoof can't absorb shock the way it's meant to, where's the shock absorbed? In the sensitive tissue of the hoof, navicular laminitis, or further up the structure, bony changes, calcification, ring bone, side bone, splints, arthritis. Or if the blood can't circulate, then you've got your thrushes and your seedy toes and that kind of thing. So why all these problems? You know, it's evidenced on the marketplace our horses are sore. Just go to a tack store and you'll see shelves of glucosamines, anti-inflammatories, MSM, painkillers. Why? Because of the way we treat their feet. We lift this foot up in its most contracted place. It's not weight bearing, it's not expanding, the frog isn't making contact with the ground, and we hold it in place with a metal shoe. So you're not getting shock absorption, you're not getting blood circulation, and in addition, I mean, you take a metal shoe and bang it against a hard surface, you'll feel the vibration up your structure. So not only does the hoof not do the function it's meant to do, but it sends vibration back up the structure again. So no wonder our horses are sore. You know, horses have been around a lot longer than we have. They've been around for thousands and thousands of years. They're survivors. But for the last 1,500 years or so, we've been doing this to their feet. And that's given us a lot of problems. So what do? Well, we want to ride our horses, right? We need hoof protection, don't we? Actually, we do. Can you ride your horse barefoot? It's difficult. It's difficult because the hoof conditions to the living environment, which is very often grassy pastures or bedded stalls. And so it's not really conditioned to the aggressive terrain, you know, asphalt, logging roads, creek beds that we want to ride on. So with tender sole, you know, this is the area that gets quite tender. And also, we put an additional 200 pounds of weight on them, and that's average 100 or 150 rider and 50 for tack, and that translates to about 20% of the horse's body weight. So we're putting that additional weight on. So it's very difficult to go ride out on creek beds when we're pushing the hoof down onto the ground. And in addition to that, I mean, you know, you say that the shoe provides protection, but it's this area, it's this sole area that actually gets tender, not the outside wall. That's quite hard already. So our choices, well, I've seen glue-on shoes. Okay, so that means we're not, you know, nailing the metal on. But to have any apparatus stay put on a horse's hoof, be it a shoe or a complete pad, you've got to put a lot of glue, a lot of very serious glue onto the live tissue. And that means toxicity is entering live tissue and entering the bloodstream. So for me, that's not an option. Another thing I've seen are rubber shoes, and actually they can come in a lot of pretty colors. But you're still nailing. You're still nailing metal, or you're still nailing the rubber, you're still nailing with metal, and you're holding that hoof in its smallest, most contracted state. You're not allowing shock absorption, you're not allowing blood circulation. So, and the metal that's in the live tissue is still sending some level of shock back up the structure. So that's not an option either. But what we do have is the most simple, basic, and beautiful option for your horse. Cavallo hoof boots. You can ride on any terrain at any speed, and you've got 100% hoof protection. Inside the boot, the hoof is still expanding and contracting. Shock is being absorbed. Blood's still circulating. But you've got 100% hoof protection on your horse. Mud, rivers, bogs. I've been in mud bogs up to my horse's chest. And these boots, something that would suck a metal shoe off, but the boots stay on. 100% comfort, protection, security. Give your horse that today. Call Cavallo.